Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at a few more items from Troubadour. We're going to be reviewing their Explorer Apex backpack and their Caboodle tech case. And like the Ridge backpack from Troubadour that we looked at a few weeks ago, both of these items have a very sophisticated and unique aesthetic that seems to kind of be a blend of a Toomey and Bellroy vibe, which I've really enjoyed. And I've been testing each of these items out for about a month, and so far it's been a pretty good experience. They feel very well built. I really like their overall aesthetic. And they also offer a nice amount of space and organizational options. So I'm excited to share them with you guys, and I want to thank the company for sending the items for me to test out. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, I really like the overall aesthetic. This definitely has a little bit more of a minimal appearance than the Ridge backpack, but it maintains that sophisticated and fashionable vibe that really just feels like it's going to go great with a suit or a nicer outfit while still being sleek enough for walking around the city. The bag is offered in a few different colors, but I, of course, have the all black version here, which I think looks great. And then moving on to the materials, on the exterior, you have a recycled nylon face here on the front, along with some vegan leather accenting on the top, as well as the handles and the zipper pulls. And the nylon here feels like it's gonna hold up well to rougher usage and also offer a nice amount of weather resistance while feeling pretty lightweight. And then on top of that, you have some great aqua guarded YKK zippers all throughout. One note I want to make on the main compartment zipper here is that you do have the ability to lock it to give you a little bit more security while you're walking around. And then continuing along the exterior, you have two external water bottle pockets, which I was really happy to see. These offer a pretty decent amount of space. Currently what I have here is the 20-ounce water bottle that you've seen in a lot of my other daily bag videos, and that fits in there pretty comfortably. The compartment has some elasticity, so if you have something a little bit thicker, it should be able to fit in here okay, but once the main compartment of the bag starts to get a little bit more filled out, I could see this starting to feel a little bit tight. Moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 25 liters, which is a really versatile size in my opinion. I was easily able to hold all the items that I normally like to carry with me, and I still had some leftover space. And I like that even when the bag was a little bit more packed out, it maintained a very slim silhouette and it hugged my back closely, making it great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, or carrying onto pretty much any domestic or international airline. One thing that I did want to call out about the sizing is that it is a pretty wide bag. I was actually surprised just how wide it was. I guess that's how they managed to keep it so slim even when it's packed out, is the fact that it just stretches out across your back. So if you're somebody who has a little bit of a narrower torso, you may want to keep that in mind. Continuing on with the straps and the back paneling, this is an area of the bag that I think could use some improvement. Unfortunately, the straps here to me weren't really as comfortable as I would have liked to have seen. They have an okay amount of padding. On the inside, you don't really have any sort of meshy material to help prevent moisture from building up, but they just felt kind of stiff even after wearing the bag for a little bit longer. When it was loaded out, I just noticed that the bag would tend to fatigue my shoulders a little bit, and the straps were a little bit more narrow than I would have liked for a bag of this size. On top of that, one more note here is that you don't have the ability to add any sort of a sternum strap to help distribute the weight. Moving into the back paneling, this has been pretty comfortable. It has a soft padding that has felt pretty nice on my back, but there's no sort of meshy material here either to help prevent moisture from building up, and there's also not a whole lot of elevation to create any airflow while walking around throughout the day, so I did notice that my back would tend to get pretty sweaty while wearing this. One thing that I did want to call out here that I liked is that you have this nice luggage pass-through on the back so that you can rest this on a suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag keeps things very simple. You just have one quick access pocket on the front, again with a nice well-protected zipper, and this offers a decent amount of space. It goes down about the length of my hands, and I like that this comes up enough that you can place some larger items in here when needed. So what I currently have is a lightning cable to charge my phone along with a power brick, and then I also tossed in my Ray-Ban sunglasses with their case, and then the last thing that I have in here is my Apple AirPods. And so on the inside here, you can see it has a little bit of a lighter lining so you can see what's on the inside, but besides that, not a whole lot of internal organization. And then you also have a very small lanyard here that has a very nice clip so that you can attach something like your keys or a multi-tool. And then taking a look at the main compartment, this is a top-loading bag, but the zippers come down enough that you can get a good view into everything that's on the inside. And so I like the simple layout that this has. You're really able to fit a ton of stuff, even what I have in here. You can see there's some leftover capacity at the top. I could have tossed in something like a jacket or a change of clothes. Jumping into what's currently here, first up I have the Troubadour Caboodle case, which we're going to dive into in a little bit more detail in a second. And then moving down towards the bottom, I tossed in my Beats Studio wireless headphones with their case. And then I have a full-size moleskin notebook. And then next to that, I also have my DJI Mavic Mini with its case. And then the last item that I have here is my Levitate portable standing desk, which fit in there very comfortably. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside, and I really like how much this compartment comes up, which is what makes it great for holding those bulkier items. And with this layout and space that I have here, I could definitely use this as a minimal travel bag if needed, so I could toss in a larger double-sided packing cube, my dop kit, maybe an extra pair of shoes, and then I'd be ready to go for a longer weekend. And then taking a look at this main area, it's nice that you do have some extra organizational options. Even though there's not that many pockets throughout the bag, on the inside here you can organize your stuff a little bit. So starting off with this back paneling here, you have a few slip pockets on the left. You have one that's pretty deep. I tossed in my BluePot portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank. And then next to that, you have another one that's the same size. I didn't want to put anything too bulky in here because then it creates a little bulge here and everything kind of sticks up. So I placed something flatter in here. I threw in just a simple cable and a wireless charger that I like to have with me, particularly when I'm traveling, so that I could just leave this on my nightstand. And then in front of that, you have a small slip pocket that has a little bit of elasticity. It's a little bit more good for holding something delicate. So if you have your phone, you can toss that in here. I've also tossed in my Apple Magic Mouse. It has a decent amount of space. And then next to that, you have a small slot that's going to be great for holding something like a pen or a stylus. And then moving up towards the top, you have an additional zippered pocket, which is actually pretty tall. This is gonna be a great spot for holding something like a magazine or some folders. Currently what I have here is just my iPad mini, which kind of gets swallowed up by that compartment. So plenty of space for anything that you wanna store. And then on the back of the compartment, you have a padded laptop sleeve, which has plenty of space. This is gonna be able to hold up to a 16-inch laptop. Currently what I have here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro, but you can see that it gets swallowed up by the compartment. There's plenty of space here at the top. And I like that this sleeve is a little bit thicker and it's also suspended off the bottom of the ground, so it feels like my device is gonna be protected if I place my bag down a little bit harder and then pulling my laptop out. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. And so I like that this comes up a decent amount. So if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to fit in here okay. Unfortunately, there's no sort of fleece lining here either, but it still feels like with the elevation and the padding on the sleeve, my device should be well protected while I'm running around throughout the day. And then the last bit of organization that we have in this main area is on the flap. You have a mesh zippered compartment. I always like the use of these mesh compartments, as you can see what's on the inside. And so the compartment is also a decent size. It has plenty of volume, as you can see. So if you have something a little bit thicker or maybe a pouch that you don't want falling down to the bottom of the bag, it could fit in there comfortably. Currently what I have in here is my GoPro Hero 3 Plus. And then I also tossed in a multi-tool. This is my Gerber dime, and I tossed in a little tablet stand that I like to have with me to kind of rest my phone while I'm either on a flight or at a coffee shop. So really like the simplicity and the space offered here and throughout the entire compartment. It just works very well, even though things are kept very simple. It has plenty of space, and if you're looking for a stylish and durable bag that you're gonna be able to take with you into the office or for a quick weekend trip, then this is gonna be a good option to check out. And then taking a closer look at the Caboodle tech case, this has also been really nice to use. It has a very classy and simple aesthetic similar to the bag. On the exterior, you have the recycled nylon that we saw on the Apex Explorer, and then you have some well-protected zippers all throughout. They have the nice aqua guards to keep all of your tech accessories safe from the elements. On the exterior, you also have this nice carrying handle if you want to hold this outside of the bag. And the sizing here works pretty well. It's a pretty bulky tech pouch compared to something like the Air Slim pouch or some of the other, just really sleek pouches that we featured on the channel. But it did remind me a lot of the Moment tech pouch that we looked at pretty recently. As you can see, they're very close in size. They can hold maybe a little bit more in the Caboodle case, and it also has a simpler layout, but just a nice alternative, and just to show you a little bit of a size comparison. And so, these type of larger organizers are gonna take up a good amount of space inside of a backpack, but they also give you a little bit more flexibility with what you can store. And so jumping into the layout of the Caboodle, on the outside, you just have this one quick access pocket that doesn't really have any sort of internal organization. It's just a great catch-all pocket for any small accessories that I want to get to a little quicker. So in here, I tossed in a USB cable that has a bunch of connectors. Then I also tossed in a little USB hub that I have for my iPhone. Then I tossed in a simple stylus that I like to use with my tablet. And I also have the lightning to headphone jack so that I can use wired headphones when I need to. So again, plenty of space there. Even with the items that I had, I could have probably tossed in my phone or a wallet to just keep, a little bit more stuff out of my pockets. And then moving into the main area, you have a zipper that goes all the way around. And this is a very cool design that's becoming more popular with tech organizers, both with the Moment Tech Kit and also with something like the Peak Design Tech Pouch. They were really kind of the first to have this accordion style design, but I like how it's implemented here. I like that this is something you can place down on a desk while you're sitting at a coffee shop or any sort of table and just be able to have this to reach in and grab whatever you need. It doesn't fall over and you can open it wide enough so you can see whatever you need to get to pretty easily. And the layout here is something that I like because it's simpler than some of those other pouches that I mentioned. You do have some slots to hold your stuff, but it's not overwhelming. So sometimes that extra organization I feel takes away from the ability to add bulkier items. And so you have two kind of main areas that have a little bit more space, and then in the middle you have a few elastic bands to keep things in their place. So starting off with this compartment on the left, I just tossed in my Apple Magic Mouse. It's kind of floating there. And then on the back of this compartment you have some elastic slip pockets that have plenty of volume for anything that you want to store. In this one I just tossed in my USB-C hub for my MacBook Pro, and then in the middle I tossed in my T5 portable hard drive, and then next to that I just tossed in the USB-C cable that goes with that hard drive. So again, you see a place for everything without being overwhelming. And then in the middle you have a few slots for something a little bit bulkier. So on the right you can see here I tossed in a lightning cable to charge my phone along with the power brick. And these pockets are interesting because they're actually open on the bottom, so you've got to be a little bit careful with what you place in here. If you place something too small or short, it can actually fall out and just start floating around, so it can get a little bit messy. And then next to that I just have the USB-C cable that I use to charge my MacBook. This is a little bit larger, that's why it fit well into that pocket. And then on the front of this divider you have a few more elastic slip pockets. These are a little bit larger than the ones that you had on the back. And here I currently just have a simple lightning adapter so I can plug my phone and iPad into HDMI. And then next to that I have a wired pair of headphones that I like to have with me for when my AirPods run out of battery. And then on the front here, then you just have a large compartment to store any bulkier adapters or action cameras, anything a little bit larger that you want to carry with you. You can probably toss in something like a lens. Even with the items that I have in here, you can see it's not super packed out. So what I have here is my USB-C hub that I use to charge my MacBook Pro, and then an extension cable that goes along with that hub for when I need a little bit more distance. And then I also tossed in a small travel adapter. This is the light travel adapter that I featured in a video a few months ago, and this is something that has been great. I haven't traveled as much, but I like to have it with me just because it has so many different connections and it's so small that I could just toss it in easily. And then besides that, not much else in this compartment. I don't really like to carry that many accessories, but it's nice that you have that extra bit of space with this tech organizer. And then I like the fact that it's not that rigid, so you can see that when it's not fully packed out, you can kind of squeeze it down to make it fit into a tighter bag. So overall, just really enjoyed using this quite a bit. A great simple layout, and if you're looking for a tech organizer that has a little bit more of a sophisticated aesthetic and that's going to keep your stuff well organized and protected, then this is going to be a good option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty good experience testing out the Explorer Apex backpack and Caboodle tech case over the past month. Both of these items have a great build quality. I really like the amount of space and organization that they offer, and they also have a very interesting and unique aesthetic. And so you can currently purchase these on Troubadour's site starting at about $95 for the tech case and $245 for the backpack. So both of these have pretty premium pricing, and they do have a great build quality and a nice mixture of features, but there are going to be a lot of other great items to consider in these price ranges. And so as I was testing these out, I really thought a lot about some of the other great kind of minimal work and everyday bags that we've looked at on the channel. So if you're interested in something like the Apex backpack, I definitely recommend you check out the Air Daypack 2, which comes in at a much lower price point, and it's going to offer, a really solid build quality, tons of comfort, and a nice organizational layout. That's one of my favorite everyday bags. I also recommend you take a look at something like the Bellroy Classic backpack, which has a very simple layout, very similar to this, a more professional vibe that's gonna work well with a nicer outfit. And again, that one's also gonna come in at under $200 while still offering a ton of comfort and a great build quality. And the tech case has also been really great to use, but if you're looking for something like this, I recommend reviewing the roundup video that I did for some of my favorite organizational pouches. And I also recommend checking out the video that I did on Moment's travel wear collection, which has an organizer that's very similar to this, that's gonna come in at a little bit of a lower price point and also offer some extra organizational options. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think of Troubadour's products and if there are any similar options that you think I should check out. As always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company again for sending the items for me to test out. And if you found this video helpful, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.